stories sell, but not only sell, they help build connections. So are you using social media and marketing actively in your business to grow your business and progress yourself forward? And if the answer is no, you should be doing this. Even if you're not doing this and progressing forward, 100% guarantee if you mix in building out a social media presence and an online presence, this will accelerate your business at whatever pace you're at the moment. Even if you're growing at a fast pace, this will accelerate it even faster. So this is such an important element of business. Marketing is an important element of business. But that said, in today's world, it's not, you can't just open an Instagram account and a Facebook account and that's it. Business comes flooding to you. A little bit more goes in with that. And I'm going to help you in this video build out how you create content to help build your brand, your business connection, and your network. And the saying goes, your network is your net worth. It's a little bit cheesy, it's a little bit cliche, but it's massively true. So I'm Harvey, I'm a remote property investor, and whether you're in property or I'm a remote property investor / entrepreneur, and property investing is not really so much investing anymore. Unless you pay a property entrepreneur to do it for you, you really have to understand this as a business. But this concept is for any businesses, by the way. So you want to be able to tell what you're doing via stories. And the more you can tell stories, the more you can get online, and the more people know what you do, the more they're going to come to you. But as I said, it's not just a case of showing up online. If you just show up online and just post a few things, or you ramble on a little bit undirected and not done correctly, you're just gonna get lost in the noise. Because one, it's a powerful network and it's free, but because it's free, there's loads of people doing it, and because there's loads of people doing it, there's a lot of noise. So you have to do this a little bit in a structured way, in a planned way, not a little bit, massively in a structured way, in a planned way, to stand out from the rest of the noise that's drowning us out at the moment on social media. So important to understand and master this element. As I said, this won't only just grow your business and your sales, this will grow your network. So if you're in the property game, this will connect you with builders, this will connect you with estate agents, solicitors. Let me tell you a story on all of them. Builder, got recommended, he'd been following my videos online, we hadn't met, got recommendation, finished the work, asked where to send the email, like the invoice, told him Harvey accounts at Grove Properties. He said, oh, you Grove Properties? I said, yep. He went, I've been watching your videos, and straight away I bonded with him quicker. Solicitor's like matured age, and she's not far from retirement. Don't like to guess any ages of a lady, but she's mature. Never would have imagined she's on Instagram. Get a call on the phone to her the other day about a mortgage going through, and she was like, Oscar's doing well, and she's bonding with me because of Instagram, following me on Instagram. This week, again, another agent following me on Instagram, messaging on my stuff. So they're getting more touch points with me, building that trust. But if I didn't build out stories correctly, they probably wouldn't follow me. There's another example for another agent is I pulled up to a property with a new agent, never met him before, was going to view this property. It was in Teesside, my remote location, and a guy was standing at the front. He recognised me from my videos. He was like, I recognise you, seen you on the videos, and yeah, we started talking. That agent went off and then check me out. Agents, whether you like it or not, you walk into an agency and say, I'm a property investor. They've never met you before. They've got a preconceived conception of you straight away. And you have to prove yourself, not the other way around, you know? So they will just think, oh, here we go. They're going to offer loads of silly bids, blah, blah, blah. And they've just got a preconceived conception of you. Especially because there's so many time wasters that come into this game. Because of the power of social media, the power of education now and information, so many people watch a video on YouTube and go, well, I'm going to be a property sourcer, a deal packager. They go into the agency, said, yeah, and bid on properties. Get told as well, bid on enough properties. Find the good properties and the investment will come. Don't worry about investment. If the property's good, you'll find that. Kind of true, but people ain't just going to knock on your door of investment. So there is stuff you need to do alongside that. And many people have gone into it. I'll get on with agents and they've told me the amount of time wasters they've had. So they've got a preconceived conception of you straight away. One, you're going to offer low bids, and two, you might be a bit of a time waster. That same person watched that video about deal sourcing. The reason he don't follow through on the bid is because the next week he's watching a video on cryptocurrency. Now he's a trader. In the week after, he's watching something on e-commerce, and now he's setting up an Amazon store. And you get these people that flit from thing to thing, to idea to idea. So agents got a preconceived conception. That agent that he went off and watched my videos and then come back, got really bonded more with me and actually wanted to come and work with me. So it shows you the power of it. But the videos have got to be structured in a good way, and stories sell. I've just done here how I demonstrated. I've just told you a story to link you into what I'm going to do with the content. So the typical order of a video and a story: a video should be hook, so the headline that's going to drag them in. Start off with what it's going to be about, get the curiosity. The middle part of it is your story and value. You want value in there, story in there, and the points where you learnt this or paid for this or whatever the learning was from that. Then you get your call to action at the end. So you'll see me at the end to say, if you find this useful, please share it to somebody, or what's your comments on that. That's a call to action, getting people to engage. So a really powerful way to build out content and stories is called an epiphany bridge story. I learnt this from Russell Brunson. I've done some training with them, ClickFunnels, the founders of ClickFunnels, and it's called an epiphany bridge story, and they study this from movies. Every story goes in some sort of bridge. So I've got it here because I won't remember it off the top of my head. You start off with your backstory. We've all got a backstory, how we come to the point where we are. We always then hit a wall. This happens. You watch films, you watch Star Wars, you watch Cars, you watch all the big films. They go through this major story, majority of them. You've got a backstory. You then have a desire and a desire of what you want, whether it's internal and external. You then hit a bit of a wall along the way. Hence, this is why so many people break down relationships with agents. That investor hits that wall, then they're off doing something else. But then the ones that continue break through that wall and have that epiphany moment where you're like, this is what I was doing wrong, or this is what I'm learning, this is my learnings. From that epiphany moment, you go through to, you build out a plan, and then from the plan, you always have a bit of a conflict in splitting the roads, and from there, in that splitting the roads, you either go to your achievement or your transformation. So I can quickly show you on here. What I'll do is, I know this is back to front, I'll show you on here and break this down a little bit for you. As I said, I know it's back to front, but what I'll do at the end is I'll take a picture of this and I'll put it in the comments underneath so you can see it. So you've got you here that starts with your backstory. So you've got a big smile on your face. You're about to start up on your journey. You've come up with this big idea of taking on the world, building out this big property portfolio, developing. So this is you thinking about doing your bits of development and your property portfolio. And that's you, that's your start, that's the big build-up part. That's where we get loads of energy from. Reward comes from that as well. You get massive amounts of reward. You then start thinking about your desires, you know. And what you want to do, I don't know how to spell desires, sorry guys, but let's just put desires. A bit dyslexic, so apologies. This is more for giving you an idea of what it is. But you come across your desires, and you'll have a external and an internal. And as I said, so your backstory. So for me, let's reverse engineer this bit a little bit. For me, the backstory is me getting into property, buying my first deal, buying a piece of land, going to buying the first deal in Southend an hour away, and then realising that didn't quite work, you know, but that was all my backstory leading up to that point, doing what I was doing, in and out of trouble before that, and this is all my backstory. My external and internal desires were literally my external was to build an income, to build a property business, but my internal desires was that fulfillment and that living on my terms, and that's what my why is. That's how I end a lot of my videos. But along the way, for sure, I hit that famous brick wall. So no matter what you do, this is always going to happen, and this is where so many people give up. Is when they hit these walls, they just give up, you know, and they just don't keep them going. And the wall for me was, I got a bit of momentum. I opened my coffee shop, and I then went to multiple streams of property income, tried spreading too quick, and tried doing HMOs, and that was my bit of my wall, and it brought me back to, it brought me back down to earth, and I really struggled. I got into a financial hole and a mental hole. I then had my epiphany bridge, so I tried doing HMOs. So you get to that point where, and this is copied from ClickFunnels, by the way, guys. I then had that big light bulb moment and the epiphany bridge. These drawings are only just for the sake of this, so don't judge me on my spelling on my drawing. But he had that then epiphany bridge. That epiphany bridge and that light bulb moment for me was the first place I bought in Southend, which is an hour away. it was right in the middle of a red light district. So that was that epiphany point bridge for me. I was like, oh wow. Like, I didn't know Stockton-on-Tees 4 hours away no better than I knew closer. Because when I hit this wall, I went to multiple streams of property income. They was all saying at that time, you should invest within an hour, invest locally, don't scattergun. So I come back investing locally, done a HMO, and yeah, it just wasn't for me. But this was my epiphany bridge and my new opportunity. So at this point, you get that new opportunity. Then you go on and you hit the point of that as making your plan. So you get your little roadmap and where you want to climb your mountains. You have your plan from that, and you want your little destination, X marks the spot at the end. So I started planning out, thinking I need to work out to run my business from my phone with the tech we've got available. No other mentors, no other trainers were showing you this. I went and done some training around entrepreneurship, businesses and property, and then I had to make a plan into adapting that to do that remotely. So the plan is the bit where you've had your epiphany bridge and you come on to the next bit. Start planning that out into where do we take this forward. You always come across a bit of a crossroad here, so you'll be standing on this a bit of a crossroad where there's a conflict where it goes either way, and on that conflict you'd either go to your achievement. Not sure how to spell that, but let's say you spell it. You'll be across to your achievement where the flag's at the top here. This will be you climbing this. You either get to the top of your achievement, or, and this is usually financially, or you hit that big transformation where like you just transform as a person and your whole mindset and your mind is shifted. So it's a transformation. And for me, can't fit that in, probably can't spell that either, but for me that transformation was living on my terms, doing things on my schedule, and evolving into being able to coach people and train people. And the achievement was the portfolio I built and the knowledge I got along the way, especially in that transformation. I had a lot of pain along the way, still undoing some of that pain still to this day, and some of the mistakes I made, but the achievement was that. And this is what you call the epiphany bridge. Bridge story. This is designed from. This is made. This is created by Russell Brunson, but they've took the model of how films build out the structure of their films, basically. So epiphany bridge story, really important. And the big thing with this is if you can understand how to tell your story, you don't always have to be about your backstory. You can do a lot of your content in this story line sort of thing, where your backstory was from understanding how you first worked out how to do yields, your wall you hit with that, then the epiphany moment, and then the plan and so forth. Loads of content can go through this order. But the great thing with this, if you do this for yourself as well, what you can do is you can break all these little bits down along the way. So my backstory, it'll be about me getting the first place in Southend, buying a development site first, a mistake, not having no education, me being born in London, but growing up from the age of 6 in a little village called Aveley, understanding that wasn't an investment location. And all these little bits can be broken down. The wall I hit, going to multiple streams of property income, iCoffee, the shop, all these bits, I can take out all these little bits. If you go through your backstory and you make a load of bullet points of your backstory, so it might be Southend and my first buy to let, and then it might be the development site, the land that I bought, the development site. Then it might be about being born in London and growing up in Aveley, and Aveley not being a location. I can't even spell Aveley. I lived there. I don't know how to spell that. Just when I'm thinking, I can't always spell it at the same time. Can't spell it at the same time at the best of time. But you make your bullet points. You then put your bullet points down of your desires, internal and external. And you just write these bullet points down next to these. Similar again, when you hit the wall, there'll be many things, multiple streams of property income. Masopi was it was a turning point for me both ways. That learnt me so much, but it was kind of broke me at the same time. iCoffee. So you write down these bullet points, and you do this along all the levels of the way, where you write down all these bullet points for each of these ones. And when you do this along the way, what you do is you can pull out individual little tiny bits, and you've got loads of content going forward, and you put it in the structure. You put it in the structure of your, let's do it in a completely different order. As I said, I'll take a picture of this at the end so it's around the right way. But the structure you want to structure all of your content is hook, story, and with that story, you build out your story into value. So hook, story / value, and then your call to action. And this is where we are in this. So my hook was talking about story, sell, blah, blah, blah. At the front end, my story was this, actually telling you about how to build this story. But I told you a bit of a story at the front end that led into this, how I understood the power of this. And then call to action, which is going to be now. Please share in the comments what if you've done this. Are you using social media? Do you understand the benefits of this? Most people that don't use social media don't use it because it's not because they don't understand the benefits. They quite often they fool themselves, which I've done. That they don't need it, and it's because they're fearful of it. They're too scared to do it. And there is a structure behind it. There's a way to build up your confidence with that. Massive thing we do on the coaching is build people through that and give them that logical order and support and guidance how to build it out. But being fearful of something and pretending you don't need it, or actually needing it and genuinely not needing it, is two different things. Most people will pretend they don't need it even if they do need it. Every build a business needs to let people know what they do. There's no more powerful way to let people know what they do than online. So let me know in the comments if you are doing this. If you're not doing this, if you want support with this, reach out to us. I'll give you some guidance on this as much as I can. Take this. I advise you all to go through your Epiphany Bridge story. If you do it, please tag Bridge story, post it on your platforms, post it in the groups, and I look forward to doing it. And that is my call to action at the end, guys. But remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you're never going to live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms. Have a great day, everyone.